welcome to this deep dive
okay.
into the psychology of money. You sent over excerpts from Morgan Housel's book because you're ready to dive deeper than spreadsheets and stock tips, right?
Yeah.
You want to understand the why behind your money choices and maybe uncover some blind spots along the way.
Definitely.
Well, buckle up because Housel's got some mind-blowing insights.
It's fascinating how Housel starts off by acknowledging something most financial advice ignores. Our individual experiences shape our money mindset way more than any spreadsheet ever could.
He uses the example of lottery tickets.
Yeah.
Those who can least afford them often buy the most.
Yeah.
Now, to someone who's never struggled financially, that might seem crazy.
Yeah.
But for someone living paycheck to paycheck with limited opportunities, that lottery ticket represents a tangible dream.
It's their shot at a life that wealthier people take for granted, a chance to finally feel like they've caught a break. That context really changes how we view their choices, doesn't it?
Totally.
It does.
And speaking of context, did you know that even seemingly universal financial concepts,
Oh, like what?
like retirement savings or college funds, are relatively new? Just a few generations ago, most people worked till they died.
Right.
And college was for the elite.
Wow.
We're all navigating a financial landscape that's constantly evolving with limited historical data to guide us.
We're kind of making it up as we go along, which can be both liberating and terrifying.
Right.
But it also means we need to be open to new strategies and ways of thinking.
Yeah.
What worked for our grandparents might not work for us.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, this next chapter is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The often overlooked role of luck and risk. Housel uses the example of Bill Gates. Brilliant guy, incredible work ethic, but also incredibly lucky to attend one of the only schools with a computer back in the 1960s.
Oh, wow.
What if he hadn't had that access?
His entire trajectory could have been different and even more sobering.
Wow.
Gates had a close friend, Kent Evans, who was equally brilliant when it came to computers. But Evans died young in a mountaineering accident.
Wow.
What if their roles were reversed?
Yeah.
Would Gates be the household name we know today?
Right.
It really makes you think about how much of success is just being in the right place at the right time.
It's humbling, right?
It is.
We love stories of success that emphasize hard work and skill.
Right.
But luck, both good and bad, plays a huge role.
It's like that saying, you make your own luck.
Right.
But you also need some luck to make.
Exactly. All right, ready for another mind bender?
I think so.
Housel dives into one of the hardest financial skills to master.
Okay.
Defining enough.
Oh, that's a tough one.
He tells this anecdote about John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, who attended a party hosted by a billionaire hedge fund manager. This guy had made more money in a single day than Bogle had earned in his entire career.
Oh, my God.
But the author Kurt Vonnegut, who was also at the party, pointed out that Bogle had something the billionaire would never have.
And what was that?
Enough.
Imagine being that billionaire.
Yeah.
Surrounded by luxury.
Yeah.
But still feeling like you don't have enough.
And to contrast that, House talks about Rajat Gupta, the former CEO of McKinsey.
Right.
This was a guy who came from incredibly humble beginnings, achieved incredible success, and amassed a fortune most of us can only dream of.
Wow.
Yet it wasn't enough.
Oh, no.
He got involved in insider trading, went to prison, all for a few more $1 million.
Jeez.
That wouldn't have meaningfully changed his life.
Yeah.
It's a cautionary tale for sure.
It really highlights the danger of chasing a moving target.
Yeah.
If you never define enough for yourself, you'll always be striving for more, never feeling satisfied.
Which brings us to the next big idea. Okay.
Compounding.
Compounding, yeah.
But here's the kicker.
Okay.
Compounding is where the real magic happens.
Oh, I like magic.
It's something we intellectually understand, but often fail to grasp emotionally. Small changes in growth rates lead to huge E differences over time.
Right.
Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill.
Okay.
The longer it rolls, the bigger it gets.
And of course, no conversation about compounding is complete without mentioning Warren Buffett.
Of course.
His success isn't just about being a good investor. It's about being a good investor for a ridiculously long time.
That's true.
He's been compounding his wealth since he was a kid.
Housel does this mind-blowing thought experiment
Okay.
comparing Buffett's returns roughly 22% annually over 70 years,
to
those of Jim Simons,
Okay.
who's achieved a staggering 66% annual return since 1988.
Wow.
Now, Simons is brilliant, no doubt, but he didn't find his investing stride until he was 50. So if Simons had started investing when Buffett did, and maintained that insane 66% return,
his wealth would be, well, basically unimaginable.
I can't even imagine.
It wouldn't even be billions or trillions anymore.
Exactly.
Time is the secret ingredient.
It really is.
Start investing early, even if it's small amounts.
Doesn't matter how small.
Consistency over decades is what allows that snowball effect to really work its magic.
Yeah.
So you've built some wealth.
Congratulations.
Congrats. But here's the thing. Housel really hammers home. Staying rich is a whole different game.
Oh, that's interesting.
He contrasts Jesse Livermore, a legendary stock trader who made and lost multiple fortunes, with Ronald Reed, a janitor
who quietly
amassed millions through patient long-term investing.
Livermore's story is almost tragic. He was brilliant, but couldn't control his impulses, taking on excessive risk, and ultimately ending his own life after losing everything.
Oh, wow.
Reed, on the other hand, understood that slow and steady wins the race. He avoided blow-ups, kept his expenses low, and let compounding do its thing.
Building wealth isn't just about generating high returns. It's about survival. It's about avoiding catastrophic losses, managing risk, and staying in the game for the long haul.
And, Livermore's story is more common than we'd like to admit.
I bet.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of big wins. But true wealth is built through discipline and a focus on preserving capital. Don't let those big wins fool you into taking unnecessary risks.
Speaking of managing resources, Housel draws this interesting analogy between financial efficiency and energy efficiency.
Interesting.
He points out that during the 1970s oil crisis, we didn't just solve the problem by finding more oil. We learned to use less of it. We built more fuel-efficient cars and made homes more energy efficient.
He argues that the same principle applies to money. Past a certain point, your savings rate matters more than your income. It's like going on an energy diet. You can increase your caloric intake, working more, getting a raise, or become more efficient with the calories you already consume, reducing waste, making smarter choices.
And in a world where we're bombarded with messages about earning more, spending more, having more, that shift in focus can be incredibly empowering.
It is.
It puts you back in control.
Right.
Which leads perfectly to one of my favorite concepts. The unseen return of freedom.
The unseen return of freedom. I like that.
What's the financial return on being able to quit a bad job? Or retire early? Or pursue your passion without worrying about a paycheck?
It's immeasurable.
It is.
Housel argues that in today's world, flexibility is a massive advantage. And savings provide that flexibility. Think of it as buying options and peace of mind.
Exactly. What's the price tag on being able to say no to something that doesn't align with your values? Or seize an opportunity that pops up unexpectedly? That kind of freedom is priceless.
It is.
And it ties back to defining enough. When you know what you need to feel secure, it's easier to prioritize saving. And building that financial buffer that gives you options. Now, before we get too philosophical, let's remember something crucial. We're not spreadsheets. We're human.
We are.
We're emotional creatures.
We are definitely emotional.
And those emotions often trump logic. Especially when it comes to money.
Remember how doctors used to intentionally give patients malaria to reduce fevers?
Oh, wow.
We know fever can be beneficial. But it feels awful. So we take Tylenol.
Makes sense.
It's the same with investing. We know we shouldn't panic and sell when the market drops. But it feels scary. Our brains are wired to avoid losses.
It's like that feeling when you see your portfolio in the red.
Yeah.
Logic goes out the window and suddenly you're convinced the world is ending.
Exactly. Acknowledging that our emotions will inevitably influence our financial decisions is the first step to mitigating their negative impact.
So don't beat yourself up for irrational choices. We all make them.
Right.
But having a solid financial plan and maybe even an advisor you trust can be incredibly helpful.
It can.
It allows you to make decisions calmly and rationally,
Right.
rather than reacting emotionally in the heat of the moment.
All right. Ready for another controversial one?
I think so. Hit me.
Housel argues that studying market history,
Okay.
while important, can be a trap.
A trap. How so?
He calls it the historians as prophets fallacy. We tend to assume that the past is a reliable predictor of the future.
Right.
But in a field like finance, where innovation and disruption are constant, that's simply not true.
The rise of 401ks? The internet globalization? These were massive, game-changing events.
Huge.
That no amount of historical data could have predicted.
Right.
And who knows what's next?
Exactly.
Cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence.
Who knows?
The future's a wild card.
So learn from history.
Okay.
But don't let it blind you to the possibility of radical change. Be humble about predictions.
Right.
And flexible enough to adapt.
This next concept is often misunderstood. Room for error. Housel used the example of card counting.
Okay.
It can give you an edge in blackjack.
Yeah.
But you still need enough cash to survive losing streaks.
Right.
Even with a winning strategy.
Yeah.
There will be times when the cards don't fall your way.
It's the same with investing. Unexpected things happen. Job losses, medical emergencies.
Right.
Building in a margin of safety. Cash reserves. A diversified portfolio. Being conservative with financial commitments helps you weather those storms and come out stronger on the other side.
It's not about playing it safe.
Right.
It's about playing it smart.
I like that.
Next up.
Okay.
The tail wags the dog.
The tail wags the dog.
In finance.
Yeah.
A few extreme events often drive most outcomes. Housel uses the example of venture capital.
Okay.
Most startups fail.
Right.
But a small handful of winners generate outsized returns that more than make up for the losers.
And it's the same in the stock market.
Yeah.
A tiny percentage of companies like Apple or Amazon have driven the bulk of market gains over decades.
So don't get discouraged by small setbacks.
Right.
Focus on being right when it matters most.
Yeah.
Because when you hit those rare outsized wins, they can change the entire game.
It's like surfing.
Oh.
You might wipe out a bunch of times, but riding that one perfect wave makes it all worth it.
Okay, now for a topic that causes a lot of anxiety for investors.
Oh, what's that?
Volatility. But Housel has a great way of reframing it.
Okay.
He compares it to an admission fee.
Okay.
You pay a certain price for the opportunity to ride the roller coaster, experience the thrills, and potentially walk away with a big prize.
Imagine if Disneyland charged no entrance fee.
Right.
But slapped you with a $100 fine if you had a bad time.
Ouch.
Nobody would go.
Right.
Volatility, those ups and downs in the market, is the price you pay for potentially higher returns.
Okay.
So next time the market takes a dip and you feel that panic rising, remember, you paid for this ride.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the psychology of money. We've covered a lot of ground, but Housel has a few more insights up his sleeve. Let's talk about some less obvious psychological factors that can really mess with our financial decisions. You know, one thing that always gets me is how we compare ourselves to others. It's like seeing someone with a fancy car or a huge house automatically makes us think they're wildly successful. And then, bam, envy, inadequacy, even a sense of entitlement creeps in.
It's true. And social media has just magnified this phenomenon. We're constantly bombarded with these perfectly curated images of people living seemingly perfect lives, which can totally warp our perception of what's normal or even possible. And that can lead us down some pretty dangerous financial paths.
It's like we start chasing someone else's version of success without even asking ourselves if it aligns with our own values or goals. We rack up debt trying to keep up with the Joneses or make investment decisions based on FOMO rather than sound financial principles.
It's a recipe for disaster. But that's why defining enough for yourself is so crucial. When you know what truly matters to you, what brings you joy and fulfillment, it's so much easier to resist the pull of those external comparisons. You can focus on building a life that's authentic to you rather than trying to live up to someone else's Instagram feed.
It's about understanding that financial success isn't one size fits all. What might be a dream come true for one person could be a total nightmare for another. So what are your priorities?
Exactly. It's about aligning your choices with your values goals, and your own definition of a life well lived. It all comes back to understanding your own psychology. Once you get clear on what drives you, what motivates you, what brings you security and contentment, that's when you can start making financial decisions that support those aspirations instead of working against them.
So instead of asking, how much money do I need to be happy, maybe we should be asking, what kind of life do I want to live and how can money help me achieve that?
That's a much more empowering question. It puts the focus on internal fulfillment rather than external validation. You get to define your own version of success, not let society dictate it for you.
I love that. It takes the pressure off chasing some arbitrary number and puts it back on what actually matters. And speaking of getting practical, Housel really emphasizes financial efficiency. It's not just about how much you make, but how much you keep.
He uses that great analogy to energy efficiency. We all know the tricks: turn off the lights, unplug appliances, use energy-efficient bulbs. It's not about deprivation. It's about being mindful of your consumption and reducing waste.
So apply those same principles to your finances. It's about optimizing how you use your resources, not constantly striving to acquire more.
It's about developing a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Recognize that you often have more than you think, and that small changes in your spending habits can add up to a big difference over time.
It's like that saying, take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves. But maybe in this case, it's more like, take care of the lattes and the retirement savings will take care of themselves.
Exactly. And it's not just about saving money, it's about spending it wisely. Think about the return on investment for your purchases. What value are you getting? Is it aligned with your goals and priorities? Or are you just buying things out of habit impulse or to impress others?
That's where lifestyle creep can really sneak up on you. We earn more, we spend more, and pretty soon we're living paycheck to paycheck, even though we're making more than ever before.
It can be helpful to revisit your budget regularly, track your spending, and make sure those outflows are matching your values and goals. It's not about deprivation. It's about making conscious choices to ensure your money supports your well-being.
Now, Housel does dive into investing, but he does it in a way that makes sense, even if you're not a finance whiz.
He really breaks down the relationship between risk and return. Higher potential return equals higher risk. Lower risk, lower return.
You can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, right? And you can't expect those high investment returns without tolerating some volatility and uncertainty.
It all comes back to having a clear investment strategy, one that's aligned with your risk tolerance, your financial goals, and your time horizon. And just as importantly, be patient. Stay disciplined. Don't make emotional decisions based on those short-term market swings.
The stock market is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be ups and downs, but over time, the market has consistently trended upwards. The key is to stay invested, ride out those fluctuations, and let compounding do its thing.
And diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread those investments across different asset classes, industries, even geographic regions. That helps manage risk and increases the likelihood of hitting your long-term goals.
And remember those pesky mice. Housel reminds us to always have a margin of safety when investing. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and be prepared for those unexpected curveballs life throws your way.
Because they will come. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the psychology of money, we hope you found it insightful and empowering. And remember, keep diving deeper into the things that matter to you. Until next time.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.